Hey everyone, and welcome back to Finishing the Score, where you can follow along with my musical theater writing and songwriting journey, and I share the tips and tricks I'm learning along the way. In today's video, I will be sharing some of the songwriting tools that I have learned in order to set the harmony underneath your hook line. This week, as part of the Musical Theater Writing Collective, we presented our third song challenge, which was a verse-chorus celebration song. I had the opportunity to work with a lyricist named Andy Lebon. Shout out to Andy for some great lyrics this week. We started by thinking about what story we might want to do, and we ended up going to movies. We didn't have a lot of overlap on movies that we knew. It happens that most of the movies that I know are already musicals, but we landed on a movie that we both know and love, which is Good Will Hunting. And we decided to musicalize the very end of the movie where, spoiler alert, Will, the math whiz, decides not to take the job, the super cushy math job, and instead decides to go out to California to chase a girl, chase some love. And so we decided to use a hook line that is present in the movie called "See About a Girl." My goal with the song was to make the hook line feel very satisfying every moment that it appears. So as you can see here, we have a pretty straightforward verse-chorus structure. We've got verse-chorus, then we have a bridge, and then we have our final chorus. And it just so happens that the hook line is in each of the choruses, and it is the last line of the chorus. In the final chorus, we have the hook, and then we have an extension on the chorus, so we actually hear the hook twice. So the hook appears in total 4 times throughout the song. And even though the hook appears 4 times, the melody is very similar every time, but the harmony is actually different underneath the hook every time. And I made these decisions in order to really highlight the hook and have it have a different feeling each time. And that's why I wanted to open the lid on the Songwriter's Toolbox today and show you what I did to get those different feelings for each time the hook appears. Before we get into the details, I want to do a quick overview of some key harmony points that you'll need to know in order to understand the rest of the video. So harmony can be broadly summarized in 3 main categories. Chords can be classified in a tonic function. That's the home chord, the root chord. They can be classified as a subdominant, which is essentially moving away from the home. And then they can be classified as dominant, which is the most unstable and the most like it wants to pull back towards the tonic and home. And harmony is generally classified as moving between these 3 categories. No matter what chord you're in, they can be classified in one of these 3 categories. And we can expand that a little bit. I'm going to add in the other chords here. On the top, a 6 chord and a 3 chord, those are both minor chords, happen to fall in the same category as a tonic chord, as the 1 chord. And that's because the 6 chord, let me do some piano demonstration here. All right, if we're in the key of C major, just a reminder, the chord numbers come from C being the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 as you go up the scale, and then the C at the top is 1 again. So that's where these chord numbers are coming from, is essentially building a triad on each of those. So here's the 2 chord is on the D because that's on the 2nd note of the scale. So when I say that the tonic category of chords includes the 1, here's the 1, and then we have the 6. The 6 actually shares 2 of the notes with the tonic. There's the tonic chord and there's the 6th chord. And because of that, it feels very similar to the 1 chord, and the same is true for the 3 chord. These 2 notes are shared by both the tonic and the 3 chord. And so that's why both of those feel like they have a tonic feeling. The same is true for a 2 chord and a 4 chord. They share some notes, then the 5 chord and the 7 chord. And so, broadly speaking, this is the general way that we can think about harmony as we're going through this video. All right, let's take a look at the song in Cubase and understand what's going on here with each of the hooks. So up top here, you can see the broad structure of the song. So I'm going to play the first chorus, and you can hear how it sounds, and the last line is going to be the hook. So take a listen.
And then you came into my life and sent my mind into a whirl. Through nights of painful introspection, my heart has changed direction, Sean. I gotta see about a girl.
All right, so that's the first chorus, and you heard the hook line right at the end there. So let's zoom in on the harmony that's happening in that section. So here we're in the key of B flat, with there's B flat being our tonic, and it just so happens that the I gotta see about, all of those words happen on a bar with a dominant chord. So the 5 note of B flat is F. So what I have here is a variant of a 5 chord, which is a 5/7 sus4. So in the key of B flat, this would be an F7 chord, an F dominant 7. But what I've done is to take the 3rd and suspend it up to a 4. And that suspended feeling gives it this sort of yearning quality that I really like in this song. So in each of the places where I've set the hook, I'm using that same dominant chord, but I am resolving to a different chord. And in this case, I really wanted to hit a stable home. And so what I did was to resolve that 5/7 sus4 to a 1 chord. Root position, 1 chord, nice and strong, very stable. But let's take a listen to what happens the next time the hook comes around, which is going from the second chorus into the bridge.
It's time to follow intuition. I grant myself permission now. I gotta see about a girl.
So let's zoom in on that. So here we have the same 5/7 sus4, but this time instead of resolving to a B flat, it's resolving to a G flat. It's a G flat major, and in the key of B flat, G flat major is the flat 6 chord of the key. So remember we looked at our diagram here. 6 chords fall into the tonic function. This happens to be a flat 6 chord that's outside of the key. So in B flat major, the 6 chord that would be in the key is a G flat minor chord because it has the B flat as its 3rd. However, what I'm doing here is doing some modal borrowing from the B flat minor key. And in B flat minor, both the G flat and D flat are lowered. And so what we get is a G flat major chord that has as its 3rd the same note as the tonic of our B flat major. And so you can land on the root as a melody note, the B flat, and have this surprising effect. It's a really effective way to create this moment of surprise, and that's what I wanted to do in this bridge. All right, let's jump over to the final chorus and hear how that sounds.
And tell my father where to stick it. I'm cashing in my ticket, Sean. And even though your wife's departed, your book has barely started. It's time to see about a girl.
And so the third time that the hook comes up, it actually doesn't resolve. So both melodically and harmonically, I have something that's a bit of a surprise. So it's not sung. We decided that it made more sense for it to not be sung, but we wanted it in the accompaniment. Da 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 da, and it ends on that unresolved note without going down to the tonic in the melody. And at the same time, the harmony is a 6 chord. So recall that a 6 chord, not the flat 6 here, we are just going with a regular minor 6 chord. This is called resolving to a deceptive cadence. So your ear is expecting to resolve to the 1 chord, but by resolving to the minor 6 chord, it's a bit of a surprise. It has a little bit of a darker quality, and you're still waiting for that final resolution. It's a little bit unsatisfying. And so the last time that the hook comes in, what we have is a resolution to the 4 chord first, and then back to the 1 chord. So by inserting the 4 chord in there before going to the 1, it has a little bit of extra color before doing the final resolution. It also feels less pat. I find that resolving directly to the 1 chord at the end can feel a little bit too pat, and your ear likes to hear a little bit more embellishment there. And so that's what I did. So each of those 4 hooks, 4 different ways to harmonically resolve them. And I hope this gives you some really interesting ideas for how you could use this in your songs, either underneath the hook line or under any line. It really comes down to thinking about, what am I trying to achieve in this moment, and what harmony best supports that? Is it something that feels very stable? If so, you can resolve to the tonic. Is it something that's more surprising? Then maybe you can resolve to one of these other options. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, please hit the like button, and if you want to follow along and get more songwriting tips and tricks, please hit subscribe. Thank you so much, and see you next time. Bye, friends!
Finishing